I know you've been running around, and I know how this shit goes down, but you won't see no tears from a clown, 'cause I figured it out.
I never thought I'd be the type to share something like this. I grew up in Naperville, Illinois, one of those cookie-cutter suburbs west of Chicago. Big homes, quiet streets, trimmed hedges, perfect little lawns, the kind of place where the biggest excitement is the occasional fox or raccoon darting through a backyard. That's why when I tell people what happened, they either laugh or tell me I'm crazy. It started last fall. I work late sometimes, pulling night shifts at a nearby hospital. That night, I'd gotten home just after midnight, bone-tired, dragging my feet up the driveway. We live near the edge of a small forest preserve, a thin strip of woods separating our neighborhood from a highway. I'd always liked the location. It felt peaceful, never had any issues. But that night, when I got out of my car, the air felt strange. Heavy, the kind of stillness you notice because it's wrong. No crickets, no breeze, just this thick, weighty silence pressing against me. I grabbed my bag and started toward the front door when I heard something, not loud, but sharp enough to stop me cold. A scratching sound, like claws scraping along the wooden fence that lined the side of our property. I froze, my keys half out of my pocket, and turned slowly. At first, I saw nothing, just the fence, the moonlight casting long shadows across the yard. But then, movement. Something was crouched near the far end of the fence, partly hidden in the bushes. My first thought was maybe a coyote, but as it shifted, the shape was wrong. Way too large. I squinted, heart starting to beat faster. It straightened slightly, and I swear to God, it was standing upright. This thing was tall, at least 7 feet, maybe more. Broad shoulders, massive chest, covered in dark, matted fur. I couldn't make out the face right away, but when the porch light caught it just right, I saw a snout, long and narrow, with gleaming yellow eyes staring straight at me. My chest tightened. Every instinct screamed at me to get inside, but I couldn't move. My legs felt rooted to the concrete. The creature tilted its head slightly, as if curious. Then, in one smooth motion, it stepped forward, silent despite its size. I stumbled backward, fumbling with my keys, cursing under my breath. The thing gave this low, guttural growl, not loud, but deep, vibrating through the night air. My hands were shaking so bad I nearly dropped the keys, but I managed to shove them into the lock and wrench the door open. I slammed it shut, deadbolted it, and backed away, chest heaving. For the next several minutes, I just stood there, trying to listen, waiting for something. Claws against the siding, a face at the window, but nothing came. The next day, I told my wife, and she thought I was overtired, maybe hallucinating from lack of sleep, but I know what I saw. A week later, it happened again. This time, my neighbor's dog went missing. They had one of those little electric fences, and the dog never left the yard. They found the collar snapped clean in half, and tufts of fur scattered near the edge of the woods. The neighborhood started buzzing with rumors. Some blamed coyotes, others said maybe a bobcat or even a cougar, though we'd never had sightings here before. I kept my mouth shut. What was I supposed to say? That there's a werewolf lurking in the suburbs? Then came the night when I saw it again. It was around 2 a.m. and I couldn't sleep. I went downstairs to grab some water and noticed the motion light flicking on in the backyard. I crept to the window, pulling the curtain aside just an inch. There it was, clear as day, under the bright floodlight. Standing right by the swing set, sniffing the ground, massive shoulders hunched, claws digging into the grass. I felt like I was watching something that shouldn't exist. Its legs bent slightly backward, like a dog's, but the upper body was so human-shaped, muscular, and powerful. The head jerked up suddenly, ears perked, as if it sensed me watching. I ducked away from the window, my heart pounding so hard it hurt. After what felt like an eternity, I peeked again. It was gone, just vanished, No sound, no trace. The next morning, I found deep scratches on the wooden fence and a set of prints in the dirt, huge, almost like wolf tracks, but elongated, with signs of weight bearing on the heels, like a biped. I haven't seen it again since then, but I've heard it. Sometimes, late at night, when the world goes quiet, I catch the faintest sound, like claws tapping on concrete or a low growl carried on the breeze. The neighborhood dogs bark like mad, then suddenly fall silent. I started keeping a heavy flashlight by the door, along with a bat. I know neither would help if that thing decided to break in, but it makes me feel a little less helpless. We've considered moving, but the market's tough, and deep down, I know this thing probably roams farther than just our block. I don't know if anyone will believe this, but I had to tell someone. There's something walking among us, right here in the suburbs, and it's not scared of us. If you ever find yourself in Naperville, late at night, and the air suddenly goes still, do yourself a favor. Go inside, lock your doors, and don't look back. I live on the east side of Detroit, right off Gratiot Avenue, near those old brick walk-ups that have seen better days. A lot of folks avoid this area, say it's run down. They say it's dangerous. They're not wrong. You hear gunshots sometimes, car alarms in the middle of the night, stray dogs fighting in alleyways. But that's not what scares me anymore. What scares me is what I saw 3 blocks from my building, near an abandoned auto plant. It happened about 5 months ago. I work nights as a janitor in a nursing home, and usually catch the last bus back toward the east side. That night, I'd missed my usual stop because I nodded off. Ended up 2 stops, too far, and figured I'd cut through the back streets to get home faster. I passed by the old Packard plant, or what's left of it. Broken windows, rusted steel frames, crumbling brick walls tagged with years of graffiti. No lights, no cameras, just darkness and concrete and silence. That silence hit me first. This part of the city's never completely quiet, but that night it was dead silent. Not even the hum of traffic in the distance. I turned the corner and started walking along the edge of the plant when I caught this weird smell, like wet fur and rot. I stopped. I thought maybe there was a dead animal somewhere close, or maybe a busted sewer line. I was looking down, distracted by the smell, when I heard movement above me. Not beside me, above. I looked up and almost stumbled backward. There was something crouched on one of the broken second-story ledges of the factory. It was big. I mean, way too big to be a person, with these long limbs bent tight like it was getting ready to pounce. I couldn't see the face at first, just a hulking outline and what looked like pointed ears. Then it moved. It dropped down, hitting the concrete with barely a sound. I froze. I'd seen some messed up things in this city, but nothing like that. It stepped forward, and I saw it clearly under the yellow streetlight. It looked like a dog, or maybe more like a wolf, but not on 4 legs. This thing was standing upright, 7 feet tall easy, with shoulders wide enough to fill a doorway. Its eyes reflected the streetlight, glowing yellow, unblinking. The snout was long, filled with teeth that looked too big for its mouth, lips twitching like it was sniffing me out. It didn't charge. It didn't growl. It just stood there, tilting its head like it was trying to figure me out. I backed away, slow and steady, reaching for my pocket knife, even though I knew damn well that little blade wouldn't do a thing against something like that. Then it made this sound, like a low rumble mixed with a sharp click, almost like it was laughing. I ran. I bolted through the nearest alley, hurtled over a tipped dumpster, didn't even care about the broken glass. I didn't look back until I hit the next street, and when I did, there was nothing behind me. But that wasn't the end. 2 nights later, my cousin Dre called me, saying his dog went missing. He lives maybe 6 blocks from where I saw the thing. Told me the chain was still locked to the fence, but the collar was torn clean off, metal ring bent. said there were claw marks on the back gate, deep ones, like someone took a rake to it. I didn't tell him what I saw. I just said maybe it was coyotes or a big stray. He shrugged it off, but I knew better. Then the rumors started. People talking about a tall shadow creeping between buildings. A woman said something banged on her fire escape in the middle of the night. A kid from the corner store claimed he saw a giant dog walking upright near the train tracks behind the liquor store. Everyone laughed it off, called it hood ghost stories, but I saw the look in his eyes. He wasn't lying. I tried to get footage. Set up my phone by the window at night. Nothing, just city noise and flashing lights. But sometimes, real late, I hear it. A low growl or heavy breathing just outside the window, always gone by the time I look. I started carrying heavier, first a crowbar, now a pistol. Not sure it would help. 3 weeks ago, I found something outside the building. A half-eaten raccoon. Its spine was snapped in half, and it was missing most of its head. I've lived here my whole life. I've seen what wild dogs can do. This was different. This was cruel. I think it watches. I think it moves when no one's around. There's so many places to hide in this city. Empty warehouses, broken down schools, burnt out houses, places nobody checks anymore. Places the cops don't go near unless there's a body. Some nights I dream about it, not nightmares, just that glowing stare from the shadows. I'll be walking through the city in the dream, and every street is empty, but I feel it behind me, right out of sight. When I wake up, my sheets are soaked with sweat, and I swear I still smell that wet dog stench. People ask me why I haven't left. Where would I go? Monsters live in the woods too, right? At least here, I know the streets. I know where not to walk. But this thing, it's not part of the natural order. It's something else. I don't think it's hunting for food. I think it's testing us, watching. And every now and then, it picks someone to remind us it's still here. I live in Vancouver, right in the heart of the West End. It's a dense neighborhood, high-rise apartments mixed with older houses, busy streets full of coffee shops, restaurants, and late-night joggers. I've always loved it here. You're close to the ocean. Stanley Park is just a short walk away, and there's always something going on. But last spring, something happened that made me see this city in a way I never had before. It started with weird noises at night. My apartment faces a small alley, not the prettiest view, but it's usually quiet aside from the occasional drunk stumbling home or raccoon digging through a bin. One night, I was up late finishing some work, windows cracked open, when I heard something heavy land outside. Not a cat, not a person, something heavier. I figured maybe it was a big dog or a garbage can tipping over, but when I looked out, I saw nothing. Just the empty alley, bathed in pale light from the back porch lamps. The next night, I heard it again, this time closer. A slow, dragging scrape along the brick wall below my window. My heart started racing. I turned off the light and peered through the blinds. That's when I saw it. At first, I thought it was a large dog. It was crouched low, almost crawling along the alley wall, but then it rose up, standing on two legs. It was massive, broad, and covered in dark fur. The legs were bent like a canine's, but the arms were long, with hands, yes, hands, ending in thick claws. Its head snapped up suddenly, and even though I was hidden behind the blinds, I felt like it knew I was there. Its eyes caught the faint light, reflecting back a cold, amber glow. It sniffed the air, lips curling back just slightly, revealing jagged teeth. I backed away from the window, heart pounding so hard it hurt, hands shaking so bad I almost dropped my phone. I stayed up the rest of the night, lights off, barely daring to breathe. In the morning, I tried to convince myself it was a hallucination. Maybe I was overtired. Maybe it was some guy in a costume or a big stray animal I misidentified. But when I went down to the alley later, I found deep scratches gouged into the brick. A few days later, I heard the neighbors talking. Someone's cat had gone missing. Another neighbor swore they saw a giant wolf thing near the dumpsters late at night. Nobody wanted to say it out loud, but you could feel the tension. People were locking windows they normally left open, double-checking their doors, bringing pets inside earlier. Then, about a week later, I had another encounter. It was after midnight, and I was walking home from a friend's place. I took a shortcut through one of the residential side streets, a narrow lane lined with old houses, tall hedges, and just a few flickering streetlights. As I was walking, I got that feeling, the one where your skin prickles, and you just know you're being watched. I slowed down, turned slightly, and there it was. At the edge of the hedge, maybe 30 feet away, something tall and dark was half hidden in the shadows. I could see the silhouette. Long arms, hunched shoulders, a massive canine-shaped head. It took a step forward, and the streetlight caught its eyes. Amber, glowing, sharp. I swear I stopped breathing. My legs were jelly, and every instinct screamed at me to run, but I couldn't. I just stood there, frozen, watching it watch me. It let out this soft growl, barely audible, like a warning. Then, slowly, it backed into the hedge, slipping into the darkness like smoke. I sprinted home, locked every door and window, and sat there on the floor with a kitchen knife in my hand, shaking. The next morning, I called in sick to work. I couldn't face going outside. I spent hours online, searching for any mention of large predator sightings in the city. Nothing, just the usual urban wildlife reports. Coyotes, raccoons, the odd bear wandering in from the mountains. But I know what I saw. I started carrying pepper spray and a heavy flashlight when I went out, avoiding alleys and shortcuts. Even now, months later, I won't walk home alone at night. The worst part? Every so often, late at night, I still hear it. A low scraping sound against the brick, or the faintest growl just below my window. And every time I do, I freeze, remembering those amber eyes. People think of monsters lurking in the forests, deep in the wilds. But I'm telling you, sometimes they're right here among us, in the places we feel safest, hiding just out of sight. If you ever find yourself in Vancouver's West End at night, and you feel like you're being watched, trust that instinct. Go inside, lock your doors, and don't look back. Because whatever's stalking these city streets, it's not just passing through. If you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to like and subscribe to Descent into the Unknown for more horror content. If you have any real cryptid encounters, or you're a horror writer wanting to share your stories, please feel free to email me in the description anytime.